Hey, what's going on? Tyler Austin here, founder and CEO of REISift and a fellow real estate investor. Over the last five or 6 years, right, I've been investing in real estate and really trying to figure out what is the best way to scale a company. You know, everybody talks about scale inside of real estate, and what I found is that they really mess this up. They think scale is hiring a certain amount of employees or spending a certain amount of money every month, and that's not true. Scale is the amount of money that you retain every single month gradually, like increasingly, right? And so let's just say, for example, this month you made $30,000 in your real estate company. If you spent $25,000, did you scale? If last month you spent 20 and made 10? No, you didn't scale, because at the end of the day you made less money. Now, if you can scale a company, okay, and you can retain money while also creating freedom, meaning that you're stepping away from the business as the owner, but also keeping the operation in such a way that it can grow by not having to continue to spend more money and increase the expenses every single month. Now that is something that is truly impressive. And so here at REISift, we develop a platform that's built for real estate investors and real estate professionals in order to help you scale the right way. Okay, we're a data management platform, which includes your prospects to your leads, so cradle to grave, right? From the time that you intake this data into your company, these prospects that you spend all this money and time marketing to, we're the tool that makes sure that you're actually getting the most out of that data. Understanding who did you reach, when did you reach them, how are you actually producing leads in your business, and what do you need to do to repeat the success? It's called reverse engineering your success and reverse engineering your failures. That comes including on making sure your team is doing their job, right? So task management and automating some of these things to make sure that you're getting the most out of your team. A lot of people mess this up drastically. So there's two different parts of this from the marketing side. We're going to focus on the marketing side. One is obviously bulk, and another is niche. But the big thing is that they're both, it's really important, sequential. I think I spelled that wrong. Ignore that for now. They're both sequential. So you have bulk marketing and niche marketing, but they're both sequential. What does sequential mean? Sequential means, for example, that I did a cold calling campaign, and then anybody who I didn't reach from that campaign, I did an SMS campaign. And then anybody I didn't reach from that, maybe I did a direct mail campaign, right? So if I started with a total of, let's say, 10,000 records here, what people get in the trap on is they think that they need to rebuy, another 10K records every single month to fuel this machine, to fuel getting 50 prospects every single month. So I got to spend money buying 10,000 records, skip tracing 10,000 records in order to make 2 or 3 deals, right? So I have to spend $2,500 in new data to be able to make another $20,000 or whatever it is. Yeah, the ROI is good, but is it sustainable? What happens if you end up getting all the data for the whole country? What do you do then? You can't buy anymore. So at this point, you got to learn how to actually use the data, because out of these 10,000, if you only did cold calling, maybe only let's say only 5,000 have ever answered the phone, right? What about the other 5,000? You think it's because they don't have a house they need to sell? No, it's not true, because if you go and you look at the MLS and you look at a community of 1,000 properties, they're turning over 10% every year. 100 properties out of those 1,000 properties every year are being sold. Every year it's a different 10%, right? So you just got to learn how to do marketing the right way. And how to do that is through a sequential pattern, okay? So we take the people we don't reach here. So let's just say we don't reach 7,000 individuals, and now we text message them. Because the big thing about marketing is making sure you market to people in the way they want to be heard, not off of your feelings and not off of your checkbook and basing off of your scenario. See, a lot of people start SMS first because they're like, oh, well, it's cheaper. That's a lie. It's not cheaper. I'll battle you all day on that. It is not cheaper, because you're spending a money every single time you send. It is not a fixed cost, it is variable. And anytime something's variable, it'll always become more expensive, especially if you're not managing it. Now, if you're using REISift and you're managing it the right way, you're tracking wrong numbers and you're tracking the dead numbers, you're tracking non-deliverables, then yeah, it can be really, really efficient. There's a difference between it being cheap and being efficient, however. Okay, now out of this SMS campaign, maybe we get another 3,000 responses, but now we have 4,000 people that have never responded to neither cold calling nor SMS, so now we want to send these to direct mail. But then about 2 to 5% of those are going to end up being return mail, right? So now we need to make sure that we handle those. And let's just say, I can't do that math off the top of my head. Let's say 750 properties. That's way too many. 750 properties. What are you going to do with the ones that are return mail? You've already called them. You're already texting them. You sent a direct mail and they got return mail. What are you going to do? Are you going to say, forget about those 750? Are you in the business of actually wanting to help people or just make money? Because these 750, there's a bunch of those in there, right, that need to know that you exist because they want to sell you their property, right? But maybe you need to reach out to the second cousin in order to make sure that they know that there's a property that needs to be sold, okay? That's a different story. What I want to focus on is how do you enter something into this? This is a sequential pattern here, all right? And depending on the amount of records you have, you either decide to do it bulk, meaning that these 10,000 are going into a bulk dialer and then you're going to send it into a bulk SMS platform and then do bulk direct mail, or you can do niche. Niche meaning maybe it's just foreclosures, right? And maybe you know that in your market there's 50 new foreclosures a week. Why am I going to wait until 90 or 100 days from now for that to come to start marketing to those? Instead, I'm going to market to these 50 on a weekly basis. I'm going to get the 50. I'm going to skip them. We have a whole process we teach to skip trace in one location and then a second location. Because, for example, right here, these 4,000, that was only from one skip trace provider. You might be able to skip trace those 4,000 in a second provider now, okay, and then put them back at the front of the funnel, and maybe you end up reaching another 2,000 individuals because you tried a different skip tracing provider. So you have your primary provider and your secondary provider. We're not going to get into that, but that's another thing that tons of companies miss out on. Nobody educates it. The gurus out there don't educate it because all they care about is you using affiliate codes and selling more of that skip tracing. I know this doesn't help me get affiliate partners, but that's the truth behind it. They have something to sell you. That's why at REISift our affiliates are only users. Okay. Now, 50 prospects, you skip trace them, right? And then you cold call, SMS, and leave a voicemail on each of their phone numbers. So phone 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on at one time, okay, in one setting. Click to call, then you move it to the next, and you do it again the next day. So you got a task to do it the next day, and then you do it again the next day. So over the course of 72 hours, depending on how many you can get through in a day, you're going to end up rotating through these and doing 27 touches. On average, it takes between 8 to 12 touches to get a conversion. You're going to do 27 touches. So if you do not reach any of these 50 people over the course of 72 hours or however long it takes you to dial through those, on average, it's about $150 a day, 3 phone numbers per record, 3 to 5. So 50 records, you can get done all of them in a 72-hour period of time. 27 touches. If they don't answer, then you know for fact direct mail is your only choice here. Direct mail or reaching out to some siblings and doing some more what we call deep prospecting. This strategy that I just showed you here, getting these on a weekly basis, this is what we would consider a first to market, FTM. It is the strategy in which if you combine pulling, bulk data and throwing it in this, if you combine this strategy with at least 2 or 3 niches, you create what we call the king company, right? Because you're marketing to the masses, but you're also focusing on a niche group of individuals that you can serve and consistently bring in. Wouldn't it be really, really nice for you right now in your business to know, I know it takes me 30 prospects to get 15 correct numbers, which is going to result in 5 leads and 1 contract, right? Wouldn't that be awesome? So that next week if you only get 15 new records, that, hey, that's going to affect my business directly because it's not enough prospects for me to get enough correct numbers, for me to get enough leads, to get enough contracts, okay? It is really, really important that you guys understand this information. No, are you going to be able to regurgitate all of it right away? Can you sit down and be like, oh, Tyler just said all of this information? Absolutely not. Right? for me specifically, I spent the last 6 years building a real estate company, buying properties. Have right now between me and my partners right around 560 or so units right now. And in addition to that, my background is in the cybersecurity world for with 3-letter agencies and all that good stuff. And so my brain functions maybe a little bit differently. Something that I might take 30 days to understand. In this perspective, it might take you 90 days, right? And actually learning it because I've been practicing it. I'm a master of this craft, right? Maybe it's something that your business needs a little help on. Just like even here at REISift, we don't run our own Facebook ads. Why? Because we're not very good at them, right? So we have other people run those ads for us, and that's totally fine, okay? Or we have other people to teach us. And it's okay to understand where your strengths and weaknesses are, but what I can promise you is that there is no company that's unique in real estate. It is all a matter of marketing, and marketing is not something that you have some revolutionary way. What I'm showing you guys right now is not revolutionary. It is just the right way. It is just plain up the only way. It can't be argued that there isn't a better way, right? Yeah, you could do bulk dialing. You could say, hey, I only like to do bulk dialing. That's all I like to do. That's fine. But are you tracking the wrong phone numbers? Because if you're doing bulk dialing right now, and 65% of your data is wrong numbers, and then you decide in the future to do SMS campaigns, or you're not tracking it, so you end up calling those 65, 100 wrong numbers again, or whatever the scenario is, then you're wasting time and money. Every wrong number tracked is money saved in your business. Every correct number found is money earned in your business, because it's long time follow-up. Lead management, another really important thing. What I just showed over here, this strategy for first to market, the way we call through it, this niche sequential strategy, it's what you've been doing with lead management. When you get a lead, you call it. They don't answer, you leave a voicemail. Oh, it's a mobile number? Let me send them a text message. Hey, Johnny, I was just following up, right? And then maybe you do that, a few days in a row, or you have a whole follow-up schedule with your lead management. It's the same thing. You just do it with your prospects too. The prospects that need your help. If not now, but at some point, okay? So that is all I got for you guys. Okay, I wanted to explain this to you guys. There's no charge for this, just a video on Facebook, right? Just some information that we wanted to share with you guys because our objective here at REISift is that all real estate companies receive sales and marketing clarity. That's it. All real estate companies receive sales and marketing clarity. Our vision is very important to have in a company, and for us, making sure that we educate and we retrain this way that people think that you market right now in real estate. We're trying to just get it back in the direction of what it's supposed to be at. We got off in a tangent, in this real estate space on how, you market to homeowners and how you, get yourself in front of people to present your services. It got really just gross for the last 5 years or so. We're trying to bring it back in for a second, re-educate the right way to do things, and obviously we have the platform to back it up. Feel free to head over to Trustpilot and check out our reviews. And I want to invite you for 100% free to go over to our real estate mastermind community, REISift Mastermind Community on Facebook, and just request access and say, hey, I've seen an ad and I wanted to just kind of see what this is all about, right? And so there's videos in there and users and stuff like that. You can check us out on YouTube as well as a bunch of other locations, okay? And you might see some other ads from me as well with some free resources, so you guys can get those as well, all right? I want to thank you so much for spending some time with me. I don't know how long this has been, maybe 10 minutes or so. I just want to kind of hopefully paint the picture here. And if you're like, I have no idea what he just said, then it means even more that you need to educate yourself, because clearly there is stuff that you need to figure out, okay? And I say that from a place of love because I do care about each and every one of you, whether I know you or not. You're watching this video, and especially if you're watching to this point, then you mean a lot to me, and I want you to be successful, and I'd love to be part of your journey, all right? 100% free. Go back, rewatch it, figure out how to implement it in your business without REISift, whatever you want to do, but just make sure you're doing this in your business, all right?